Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Krishna Priya. This is the Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 30th of March, 2024. We have with us our very special guest, Will Mitchell. Hi, Will. How are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. Good evening. I'm
We were,
amazing through the technical difficulties. It's amusing.
yeah, yeah, we've had some fun ones. I don't know, from emails not going out to computers crashing to having to log in on your cell phone. So in any case, we're happy to have you. And you and Angie are color coordinated. I just noticed in the video.
Well, she's purple and I'm more.
I know, but visually, but then behind her is a pillow that matches you. So if I was like on TV, it would be working because it's a color coordinated situation. That's very good. Good. I don't know if you planned that or not.
We're on the
No,
same team.
there you go. All right. Perfect. So Angie, why don't we start with some announcements and then we can move into blessings. And whoever wants to do a blessing, please put a little note in the chat.
Thank you. Good morning. We have our channeling class scheduled for Sunday, May 26th, 2024, 1:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. It is for the novice as well as the experienced channeler, because we'll go into many other aspects of channeling. And so this is for, like I said, the novice as well as the advanced. The cost on that is $150. If you're interested or have more questions, please email classes@hucolo.org. I will get that information out to you.
And Angie, who's teaching that class?
Oh, I'm teaching that class.
Why, yes.
Oh,
I just wanted to make sure you got a plug.
I mean, right. I always forget that.
Yes.
Okay, so I am the teacher on that class. The consciousness class is scheduled for Saturday, June 8th, 2024, 1:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Jim will be teaching that class. He will be channeling Gurnani. And if you have not had any of the other consciousness class, that's okay, because she, from what I understand, she's going to really encompass level 1, level 2, and level 3, all. It'll be all encompassing because it's going to touch on some of the before classes, but also expanding much greater and actually how to do it. If you're interested in that, please email classes@hucolo.org. I could get the registration form out to you on that, as well as the channeling class. I could get the registration out to you for that. Our gathering is scheduled for August 8th, 2024. That's 888, and there's a lot of infinity going on there. That cost is $695, and it just keeps expanding. The people coming in to teach and to be bringing this gathering to a fullness that we couldn't have possibly imagined. We've got a sound bath person coming in to do sound bath with us. Krishna Priya is going to lead some meditations. It is just going to be a beautiful, amazing gathering. If you're interested in that, email classes@hucolo.org. I will get any questions or any information out to you. Thank you.
And if anybody that's coming is a musician, we're going to do kirtan. So please bring your guitar / whatever
Musical
you play.
instrument, yes.
Flutes, anything would be great.
Thanks.
Yay. So let's see who we have in the room. We have a little room today because we've got Easter. I keep forgetting. But we have Angie, Dawn, Joan, Michael, Wendy, and we had Mary, but I don't think we have her. I think she's coming back. Is she coming back, Michael? And then, yeah. So that's who we have.
She can't join.
Oh. She should come back on her phone then. Okay.
We're trying both.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So possibly Mary will be here, and then all of our people in the YouTube chat. So hi to everyone in YouTube. And Will's going to be channeling. He's got some very important information, I understand, from other people. But let's first do a blessing. We've got Wendy's going to, we'll just keep it to Wendy today because we're so late. So Wendy, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Blessings, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day and enjoy your weekend. O tuhiana ishi tuhiana na kato tuhinya chi chuhina pakaira tana tunyo ena na uire ti kapa pawinya shi to tuhiana maiki tonyo tui a tuhiana mamae tonya chu 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 tu poiana maita pakatiyin yuhutu ara tata. Blessings.
It is time to celebrate. This is the beginning of you today and stepping forward into your full power, into your true self. It is time for you to shine. It is time for you to celebrate all that you are and all that God has given you. Praise your blessings. Praise your life. Live your life to the fullest.
Thank you. That's very uplifting. Beautiful. All right. So Will, who's coming through for us today? Do you know, or is it going to be, let's see?
No, it's a very specific message. Alona is returning from the Palladian Council of Ascension, and all 12 members are here as well, but she's going to be the main spokesperson.
Okay, perfect. All right. That sounds great. Well, whenever you're ready, we're ready for you.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Alona, and I'm here to talk about and to discuss many things, to talk about the Ascension, to talk about this upcoming solar eclipse that is going to affect the entire planet and the opportunities that are available to each and every one on the planet. This is an amazing event. This is an amazing time. We are in between at this point. We have had a lunar eclipse. We're going to have a solar eclipse. These energies coming. And in this in-between time, we would like you to look at yourselves for now. This conversation that you will have with yourself, this honest conversation that you have with yourself. This is not a conversation for anyone else. This is between you and you. This is the most important conversation to have. You believing in yourself. You understanding what is holding you back. You understanding what is dragging you down. You have the power to release it at any point in time through understanding, through deciding, through moving forward in your life. This upcoming eclipse is an amazing opportunity for you to ascend into the fourth dimension, into this loving and compassionate space, into this life of who you are meant to be. Every day has this opportunity, but the energies on the earth, the energies of the sun and the moon and all of the stars are here to help with that. And we on the Palladian Council of Ascension are here to help as well, to guide, to inspire, to help release. We would also like to talk about the ego, both sides of the ego. The ego is simply who you are. That is it. That is it. And there, yes, there is a shadow side to the ego. It is the ego when you're focused on yourself, when you're focused on all your pains. It's when you're focused on what am I going to get from it. And as we move, as we ascend in our thought process, as we let go of what is holding us back, as we simply release it, the opportunities of the heart, the opportunities of living fully are there. So some of these things, the conversations, I and we will entertain questions in a short bit. But the things we would like you to look at, the honest conversation with yourself, these fears. Here is an analogy before we start talking about things that are holding you back. Your natural state, your natural being is one of benevolence. It is one of goodness and well-being and joy. These are the aspects of you. This is your true self. These parts of you, you are like a cork. And everything that you're holding on to, all of your baggage, all of your fears, all of your overwhelming emotions, all those things that you want to do anything to obtain, all of your grief, all of these things are the weights that's holding your cork underwater, your true, authentic self. When we release these, you just float right up to the surface, just like a cork. Another analogy would be a hotter balloon. When one takes in the fuel and the fire of God, the hot air balloon of you can rise. But once you cast off those sandbags of resistance, you cannot soar. One must release them to soar. Now, these fears, these overwhelming emotions, these things that you are willing to do anything to get, to obtain, our attachments to the outcome, and the grief of losing someone, or the anger associated with what they did to me. These are all aspects. I am not inviting you to have this conversation with us. We are inviting you to have this conversation with yourself. These are very, very, very personal issues. These are the things we may want to talk about our fears, but this is not a support group. Yes, reach out to your friends. Reach out to maybe someone who does not know you to talk about these things if you need to, which is totally okay. When we hold on to fears, when we hold on to anger, when we want to blame somebody else for our predicament, it is simply holding us back. Let us talk about you and your relationship with your heart and God first. Your source of goodness, of ease, of joy, your goodness is a part of you. If you think of your fears, who are they serving? Are they really serving you? Is your anger really serving you? You. Being selfish is being true to your true authentic self, your benevolent self, your source within, God, the universe, and the abundance of the universe. That is the true definition of selfish, is that you, why you came here, your purpose, your inherent joy, your inherent exploration, your inherent goodness and ease, your inherent magnificent self. That is the service of being self-ish, service to the self, and the self of everyone as well. We'll go into that a little later. But in this service of self, of the heart, of your joy, what is holding you back? Focus is a good thing, but too much focus, going after something at the cost of others' detriment, is not utilizing the laws of the universe or the abundance of the universe. By tapping into your joy, the abundance of the universe will flow to you without causing anyone else any pain, any suffering. If they decide to see it as suffering because you are being abundant, if that is all about them, which is okay, that is what they're choosing to have. You get to choose what your experience is. Do you want to choose that your experience is fear? Your inherent instincts, the fear, sometimes fear can be a good thing, but living in fear, being aware of, being cautious is one thing, but being fearful and hiding is another. Is it serving you? That is the question. And your emotions. When we feel emotions, the humans, first of all, let me say that you all came here on Earth on purpose, with intention, in this environment of contrast, this perfect balance of contrast. You chose this on purpose for your expansion, for your benefit, but you also came here to be a spiritual being with the collective, with everyone else who came here to not only experience, but to evolve, to ascend, to become and dive into this experience of contrast, and then to overcome it. Not egoic and selfish, but understanding the self, the true ego, the magnificent being that you are. And when we feel what we feel, which is okay to feel what we feel, it is absolutely okay, no matter what your perspective is. If you're feeling overwhelming emotions about what somebody else did, it's simply an opportunity for you to look at yourself honestly. You don't need to talk about it with the other person, because you are listening to your heart at that point. I don't see myself as being respected in the way that my source within, that my inner being sees me. So there's a disconnect. And this reconnecting with our heart is what will bring you back to your joy. When someone says something, it's about them. How we receive it is about us. We don't have to take what they say as the truth. You do not have to take what I say as the truth. Your heart contains your truth. Your heart contains your truth within, your magnificent truth, your magnificent essence. Why would you allow anyone else's opinion of you to derail you from your heart's opinion of you? That is being selfish. That is being true to you. That is being true to your benevolence. that is being true to your heart, to your truth. That is the true definition of self-ish. And when we are focused on our will and focused on doing whatever it takes to accomplish the task, it is much different than deciding and allowing the universe to fulfill this task, allowing the universe and the collective to inspire us as individuals and inspire us as small groups and larger groups. This inspiration of abundance, this inspiration of joy, not merely I have 20 checkboxes on my list and I need to check them all off no matter what they do. And when I feel resistance to checking off one, I don't understand why I can't accomplish this task. I don't understand why the universe is not providing the solution to this. That is merely keeping you away from the solution that is right there. This argument with the universe is not your true authentic self. This argument with yourself, this argument with everyone else does not serve you. It does not serve you. That is merely our opinion. But you get to decide whether it truly is serving you. That is the respect of free will. The universe, God, respects you. And we, on this council, respect you in every choice that you make. We are not judging you. If you wish to ascend into the heart space, each individual, we on the council are continually looking at ourselves. Are we aligned with our purpose? Are we aligned with ascension? Are we aligned with our fears, or are we aligned with our heart? Every thought that we have, everyone in all of existence, every thought that we have attracts the energy towards us. Do you want to attract the energy of fear? Do you want to attract the energy of I am not good enough? Do you want to attract the energy of I keep failing at my tasks? Do you want to attract the energy of illusion? I want to see things as my fantasy sees them. Or do I want to see it as reality? Do I want to make my dreams a reality? That is exactly what this eclipse is all about. You are at the precipice. You are at the doorway. You can decide to go through. You are the only one that is keeping you from walking through into your true ascension, not this egoic ascension where I know my power, where you are focused on power and what you can do. This is about you being in the heart space, you living from the heart space. Once one lives from the heart space, the opportunities, your true power, your true self shines through. And then you become unlimited. When you allow your fears to limit you, when you allow your emotions to limit you, when you allow your desires to limit you, when you allow your grief to limit you, that is exactly what you're doing. You are adding another stone hooked into the cork. You are adding another sandbag onto your hot air balloon of ascension, of joy, of awe. You can. And it is a part of the human experience to do this. There's nothing wrong with doing it. Doing it from understanding and doing it on purpose is the true power. Doing it because you're reacting is merely you trying to figure out yourself. Know that when you are experiencing fear, that your heart is offering how to see it as not fear. When you feel overwhelming emotions, your true self, your source within, is offering a different viewpoint, how to not take it so personally, how to not be hurt, how to see it as it's about them, it's not about me. So maybe if I love, that I can listen to what this other person has to say, because they're going to keep talking. They're going to keep yelling. They're going to keep being angry. And I'm going to keep feeling it if I choose to feel it. Or I can recognize that it's about them. I can recognize that it's my opportunity to stay in my heart space. It's my opportunity to serve. By serving myself, being self-ish, not allowing the other person's mood or vibration or what they have to say to affect me in my relationship with my heart. If by listening, you can then share the wisdom from your heart when they're done, it is an opportunity for you to practice your heart space, to reinforce your heart space. We are not trying to influence anyone. By you looking at yourself on how you interact with yourself and others, you know whether you're ready to walk through. You know, and your heart knows. You know what baggage you have. Once one walks through, think about what you wish to do. Let's think of it that way. Let us shift the conversation from baggage, from what's holding you back. Now let's talk about your vision without resistance. This vision that you have of your joy, of your soul mission, of your purpose in life, of what is going to bring out your joy. These are the things. Imagine it without resistance. Imagine walking through this portal where your heart, the moon, is coming in front of who you think you are, the sun. Where your heart, your true, loving self, is now aligned with who you think you are. Aligned with your true self. They're all the same. When you step into your power, when you step into yourself without fear, without knee-jerk reactions, without attacking a problem, one becomes unlimited. One becomes their path. One lives their path. One loves their path. Imagine you walking forward without resistance, where every step you take is joyful. Imagine that. What is it that you see for yourself when there is no resistance, when there is no fear, when there are no obstacles? What would you do? What would you do? This is the conversation we would love to have with you. Are there any questions?
I want to go first to Michael because he has to go and he said he had a couple of questions. So Michael, do you have any questions first? And then if not, we'll go to some other questions we have.
Yes, how could, besides prayer and meditation, because it don't always work, help everyone, even the people on the YouTube, the people that are just listening, how can we get rid of the negativity that sticks around? And because prayer doesn't always work, carrying crystals, praying for the person, forgiving for the person, just to make things. For a question for everyone, how do we get rid of all this negativity that there is, that pushes buttons, that does everything for everybody?
Yes. Yes. This is exactly the conversation we would like to have. And thank you for bringing it up. Let us talk about meditation and prayer. Let us be human and let us be selfish for a moment. Selfish like a human. Many humans want to meditate for many different reasons, and many humans wish to pray for many different reasons. Many times, humans approach meditation and approach prayer from, I need something more, from a space of lack, which is okay. It is part of the human experience. This negativity that you speak of, or deciding, or determining that prayer and meditation are not working, is an attachment to an outcome, is one. It's also merely an invitation from your true self to meditate and to pray a different way. You, meaning everyone, humans expecting an outcome because they do something, it influences every human. It influences many beings in the universe. Definitely in the lower dimensions. This expecting an outcome. The purpose. Let us turn to meditation for a moment. At the beginning, meditation is simply, this is a plan that I'm going to receive something or gain a benefit from it. The belief behind meditation at the beginning or prayer is that someone told me and I need something, I'm going to try it. It's simply a trial of how to get more aligned with your inner being, with God, or how to release all these things that we're talking about. One of the things humans or beings need to release to achieve that alignment with self is the attachment to an outcome. Find a way to meditate and to pray that's joyful to you. That's it. That's the simple approach. Not for a purpose, just to be joyful. Pray for joy. Pray for ease. Put on music that is easy for you. Put on music that is joyful for you. This is not the joy of singing and dancing that most humans understand. This is at the beginning, one wants to release it. Your breath is magical. You focused on your breath, simply just breathing, maybe with some easing music on as well. We play music to give our senses a pleasant experience. And if we burn a candle or incense, we're engaging in the smell and the taste of something pleasing, only to help us overwhelm our senses with joy. And then as we focus on the breath, as we focus more on the breath, everything goes away. And it's not that it's a goal. So let us go through the little exercise, okay, Michael? Let us just sit or relax. And let us close our eyes. And for everyone that is out there, let us all experience the power of our breath. And we simply breathe in. And we simply breathe out. As we just listen to the sound of the breath. And we simply listen to the sound of our out-breath. Just breathing. And just listening. Just breathing. And just listening. Just breathing. And maybe begin to feel as well. Simply breathing. Listening and feeling. As you continue this process, notice how everything goes away except your breath and the listening and the feeling. You have consumed your awareness with breathing and listening and feeling. Your senses, your physical senses, over time, through practice, through repetition, they will withdraw. But simply breathing, for breath's sake, simply breathing for the sound of it. No purpose, just to breathe. With that sole purpose, everything else goes away. And then one resides in your true nature, in your true self. That well-being, that fullness of breath, that essence of the breath. And if you do this, if you do it with pleasing music, it will bring you ease. Naturally, it'll bring you rest. Naturally. And then after a while, if you wish to, all meditation stems from this. All other forms of meditation are simply a part of that. and incorporate this, whether music is being played, whether it is a sound bath, whether it is crystals, whether it is chanting. They're all tools to help you focus. That is it. Yes, they are assisting in many, many, many subtle ways, but the main purpose of chanting and the mala are for you to focus, causing focus. The focus on the chant, the focus on the meditation, the focus on the breath, the simplicity of just breathing. Humans love to make things complicated. The simplicity of the breath. No matter how complicated one makes it, it comes down to focus and the breath. That is meditation. Prayer. Can one not expect deliverance from God? Can one not expect intervention from angels? Yes, we all need help. Yes, we are a part of a community. I am part of a community of 12, council, dedicated to humanity. I am not alone, and I choose to not be alone. I choose to be a part of a community. Prayer. Prayer. As one starts out in prayer from a place of lack, maybe after having the conversation and saying the prayers of what one wants, maybe then introduce with the prayer. Dear God, show me your joy that you are meant for me to have. Show me the bliss. Show me the ease of my life. Show me the gratitude for everything that I have. Show me this joy. Many of you are doing this right now, and many of you see this power of the positivity of prayer. Once we make our ask of what we would like to show up, getting in the joy, asking what we think is external to show us our joy. It is all coming through our heart. Whether we see it as external or we see it as internal, does not matter. Us feeling this joy is important. This joy is your source within. This joy is your true self. This peace that comes with it. This peace of meditation, this peace of positive prayer. This abundance that comes from this. At the beginning, this abundance is merely, I am letting go of my resistance for a short period of time. You are not meant to spend 24 hours a day in meditation and prayer. You did not come here to do this. If it helps you get to your state of being able to do your walking meditation of life, and then just living your joy without knowing that you are meditating, without knowing that you are praying, simply by living your joy. That's what this eclipse is about. That's what this portal is about. That's what this gathering that Hucolo is coming together. This is the purpose. This unity of joy is this purpose of this gathering. You bringing your joy, your true joy, not this egoic joy. It's this joy from your heart, this curiosity, this living and loving as you walk your path or skip your path or run along your path, however you see your expression of joy. And crystals, expecting results out of crystals. Crystals are your friends. Crystals contain information. Crystals amplify energy. Crystals help. But expecting them to do everything and you deciding you're going to be stuck in your ways, not being open to the influence of the crystals, expecting them to finish your job. You came here for a job. Wanting them to clean up your mess, if you see it as a mess, or remove your obstacles. The only obstacles are in your mind, are in the imprints of your fears, are in the imprints of your emotions, are in the imprints of your desires, are in the imprints of your illusions of how it should be. Would you like to live a life of, I should do this, or I should do that, you should do this, or you should do that? Or would you rather live this life of abundance and joy, where you are truly happy, where you're not saying to yourself, it should be different? Those are the questions we would like you to ask yourself. Did this answer your question?
Michael?
Let us take the next question.
Okay, sure. Let me just grab from Joan. She has a question I have to read. Let me see. I've lost her in the chat really quick. She says, talking about ascension. What is ascension? Why do we need to ascend if we're already ascended?
Everything we've been talking about is ascension. And by asking this question, one knows when one is in the heart space. One knows when one is full of joy. Ascension means so many different things to so many different people. One must fully embrace the heart space before one can go beyond this physicality. If one's idea of ascension is turning into a being of light, then one must release all fears. One must release all desires. One must release all grief. One must release all illusion and understand what it is. Then one can transition into light and still live fully. Whatever ascension means to you. But the first step is not being overwhelmed by your fears, not being overwhelmed by your emotions, not being overwhelmed by your desires, not being overwhelmed by your grief. If one has accomplished these things, one is not focused on them. One is then living in the heart space because the love, the joy, the ease are all coming forth in everything that you do. And ascension, the term, means nothing because you are living your ascension. Ascension is living unlimitedly, living your potential, living your joy. That is ascension. And beings who are in the fourth dimension and who wish to ascend into the fifth dimension, they will gain a new perspective when they release resistance, when they have decided that they have learned the lessons of the fourth dimension, when they have decided. You understand? Decided. The aura of the human being, the vibration of the human being. It is, yes, one can measure it, but that information does you no good. You understand when you understand. The number is merely you attaching an outcome. That is it. You know when you're in the heart space. It is simple. You do not feel fear. You do not feel overwhelming emotions. You do not feel overwhelming desires. You are focused. You are loving. You are joyful. Once one has released those limitations, what one can do becomes unlimited. And when one has decided that they have learned enough from the fourth dimension, they ascend. And it's the same thing with the fifth dimension and the sixth dimension. As a matter of fact, you do this naturally with every breath that you take. It's part of the human experience to not understand that one does this. Every breath that you take reconnects you with your source within, with all that is, with God, with the entire universe. And your vibration is letting the entire universe know how you feel, know where you are. And the entire universe, the entire spiritual universe, understands and respects where you are on your journey. Hopefully, we answered your questions on what is ascension.
Thank you. I believe you did, and then some. Wendy has a question. Go ahead, Wendy.
Hello, Alona. I have a question for you in the council regarding astral travel. How is it that when you use an object or a drawing that you've created or something that you've created to represent you as an individual in your joy, so that it represents you in your joy and your fullness of life, using that to recognize that in astral travel you are in a dream, so that while you're in the dream state in astral travel and learning to control that, that it assists you in your humanity life as a dream. How does that transition from the astral travel to,
Yes. So
yeah.
bear with me, bear with us. And I invite you to not take this personally. That was very complicated on how you explained it. Meaning that when one decides one needs all these things to astral travel and to bring it back into one's life, the simplicity. Let us focus on the simplicity. When one is drawing a symbol or an image to help one accomplish something, that is focus. That is you focusing your intention, and it will be so. You deciding to experience it in the dream state is you merely giving yourself permission in the dream state to bring it back into your, what you consider your 3D reality. Permission. You permission to release the resistance to do this in your 3D life. The focus and tension, important. The drawing, not so much. The focused intention on accomplishing a task, important. Dream state, wake state, not so much. You can do this at any point in time. Think of it as easy, and I don't need as many steps. Empower yourself to make it easy. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does. I think it was more on the lines of experimentation with astral travel and awake states.
Yes. Yes. So experiment, because a part of the human experience is to make it more believable by creating the positive experience, the success of the astral travel in the wake state. And by reinforcing that, the humans wish to reinforce these ideas. Every thought that you have is a reinforcement of a belief. Every thought that you have. So at the beginning, it's a possibility. At the beginning, you're drawing, but you're focused on the belief of having it happen. Doing it in the wake state. Know that you are already doing it in the wake state. Know this. Notice this release of resistance by knowing. Your mind is choosing to not show you this because of the resistance. When you start believing more in it, by reinforcing it, through your practice, through your reinforcement, however elaborate it is in the dream state, to bring it into the wake state. It is a natural process. And if you wish to continue to experience it in the dream state so that you reinforce it that it is possible in the wake state, this is natural. This is a normal human experience that I need to get more success on it before I start to believe that it is true. And then when one starts experiencing it in the wake state of the third dimension, one's mind opens to more of the possibilities of what one can do. And these are reinforcements. Yes, continue to do it, especially if it brings you joy. But if you're doing it just to do it, we encourage you as to why you want to do it, to have that discussion with yourself. To do it, yes. To explore, to astral travel, yes. Amazing. Once you release that resistance, it's all about resistance and simplicity. When we make it complicated, it is complicated by law. When we make it easy, it is easy by law. Does this make sense?
Oh yes, thank you. I didn't connect it to the resistance because I've been having that crossover, and I was just trying to understand it. And I'm sure anybody else having these experiences is probably doing the same. So thank you for illuminating that idea and truly finding the intention to stay in your joy and to experience it. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Let me just go into our chat, in our YouTube chat. So we'll come back. GG, I like his names. GGG, CCC, TTT, MMM, and a lot of other letters there. He wanted a message from Jesus or Saint Germain, but we'll come back to that if there's time. But Richard Burdock asks, please comment on the tunings and music of 432 hertz is that really the best for humans, the solfeggio tunings?
We understand the question. And the best response I can give you is there is no right answer. If you believe that 432 is a magical resonance for you, then it is. This is the power of your belief. This is the power of your beliefs. This is the power of your understanding. By you listening to 432, by you thinking, by you deciding that 432 is relevant to you and will help you, then it will, by law. By listening to this 432 with the mindset that it is of benefit to me, then one derives benefit from it. There are aspects of this physicality that can assist. Yes, there are aspects of crystals that can assist. There are aspects of magical items that can assist. There is nothing more powerful than your mind, than your beliefs, than your source within. Your heart is your true mind. If one believes that 440 is the true way, then one listens to it and derives joy from it, derives peace from it, derives purpose from it. They're merely permission slips for you, if you understand, for you to be your true self. Whichever frequency helps you do that, then it is a working frequency. Let me also state this. Each human sees things with their eyes differently. Each human hears things with their ears differently. Each human smells and tastes differently. They also feel differently. Their experience, if you could see what we see, your idea of green is different than everyone else's idea of green. And we can state that it is a frequency. We can. Your electromagnetic spectrum is different than everyone else's. By you not deciding, by you not listening to what pleases you, what brings you ease, by you focused on the argument of 440 versus 432, you are focused on contrast and argument. You're focused on right and wrong. You are not focused on your joy of being self-ish. You're not focused on listening to your true self. You're not focused on being in joy, being in love. Hope that answers your question.
I believe so. Thank you for that. We have another question. Well, we have several questions. Diane says, if our reality is an illusion, in other dimensions, is it also an illusion? Is the dream realm the dream realm is an illusion? Question. That's a question. Should I read it again?
No, we understand.
Okay, perfect. Thank
We're
you.
trying to formulate and continue the ideas that we've been discussing.
Yes.
Illusion versus truth. Let's talk at a high level about illusion versus truth first. You having the continual discussion / argument with a friend who doesn't get it, whether it's a lover, whether it's a child, whether it's a parent, whether it's a sibling, whomever, a coworker. By you continuing to have the same conversations and expecting a different result, that's illusion. But you also have purpose with it. Can you focus your purpose elsewhere? The ultimate reality is simply existence. But that does not cause expansion. This illusion, or what you see as illusion, is inherent to this experience of the human. You're choosing to see things through the eyes of your fears, through the eyes of your emotions, through the eyes of your desires, through the eyes of your grief. By seeing through those eyes, is that illusion? Is that truth? Are you in your joy? Are you authentic to yourself? Or are you being carried away by somebody else's thoughts, by somebody else's purpose? That's the illusion. By being swept up in somebody else's thought or rhetoric or life purpose. We encourage you to find your joy, to find your purpose, to not see through the eyes of fear, of overwhelming emotion, of overwhelming desires, of overwhelming grief, to not be overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed is the greatest illusion and the greatest disservice to you and your purpose. Being overwhelmed. Wouldn't you rather be yourself? Wouldn't you rather be joyful? Wouldn't you rather have life be easy? This illusion is different for each person. This truth is different for each person. You can listen to somebody else's truth and make it your own. You can. Does that give you purpose? I guarantee you it will not be satisfying. It is what some call Kool-Aid. It is what some call eating the fruits of their labors. When one finds their own purpose, without the fears of being shunned, without being overwhelmed by anything. Once you understand your inherent nature, the goodness that's in you, the abundance that's in you, the joy that's in you, once you understand that, nothing can stand in your way, and nothing is an illusion. You're not just checking boxes. You're not just marching forward because someone told you to march forward. You're marching forward because you believe in what you're doing, that you believe in your purpose. You have found your purpose and you are living your purpose. It is okay to change your mind. It is totally okay to change your mind with understanding. You know what illusion is to you. And by you having the conversation of illusion, dream state, purpose, all these things, you are on the path to your joy. Hopefully this makes sense.
I think it does. Thank you so much. There's another question from Alan. He says, what is the Pleiadian agenda and how may we best assist in manifesting its fulfillment?
There are many ways to answer this question. Just like on planet Earth, there are many communities. There are many groups of friends. There are many, you might call a state or a province or a district or country, region, however you want to call it. Each of the Pleiadian worlds has their own collective, has their own purpose. We would like to shy away from agenda because they have their own purpose. Agenda sounds more like a king or a warlord trying to impel their will on somebody else. This is my agenda. This is my list of checkboxes. And when I check them all off, I will be successful. I have a purpose. I have an agenda. An agenda is the list that must need to be done. Each Pleiadian world has their own purpose of fulfillment of what their individual soul missions are, and as a community, as physical beings. They have a purpose and an agenda when interacting with galactic councils, with neighboring star systems, with neighboring extraterrestrials, races. And each, with respect to planet Earth, maybe, let us talk about our council for a moment. We have no agenda. The agenda, the purpose of our council is one that we were born into this role. We chose to incarnate into this role at this time to assist the collective and each and every one of you. The purpose, not the result. You do not have to get into the heart space. If you wish to ascend into the heart space so that you may ascend into your pure potential, invite us in. Bring in our energies. Bring in our wisdom, our assistance. It is our purpose to share energies, to help you focus on your heart space, not to make you focus on your heart space, not an agenda that way, to help you. We are here just like a crystal. We are here just like a drawing that you have given yourself purpose. We are merely yet another aspect of you with which you can have a conversation, or with which you can release the resistance of that which no longer serves. You get to decide whether your baggage, whether your fears, whether your overwhelming emotions, whether your overwhelming desires, whether your overwhelming grief, you get to decide whether they're serving purpose, or whether you have learned it enough and you're ready to put it down. We are not here to make you put it down. We're not here to make you talk to anyone. We are not here to make you forgive anyone. We are here for you. We are here to help you be selfish, not selfish, if you understand our point. Does that make sense, Alan? Are there more questions?
Sorry, yes. Swazi says, when we meet someone in this life that we get deeply involved with, does it mean that it's predestiny love?
We understand the question. We also understand that it is a question. With all questions, let me ask you this. If I were to tell you that it is destiny, how does it make you feel? If I tell you that it is your destiny, that this is a personal message for you, and that the question you asked, I give you emphatic confirmation that it is your destiny, how do you feel? And then let us say we part ways, you and I, the one who gave you emphatic confirmation. And then you have a different experience, that it shatters this relationship. It turns into bitter hate. What would you think of the advice I gave? Would it be destiny? Would you be drowning in grief because of the advice I gave? Now, if I were to tell you the opposite, that it is not destiny, if I were to tell you it is merely a whim, and then you break it off because of my advice, and then you go living the rest of your life pining and in grief over this relationship because of the advice that I gave. In both instances, I have done you a grave disservice. Hopefully, you understand. Destiny is a hard thing for many humans to understand. Let us continue the theme, though. This theme of joy. Does it bring you joy? This theme of, are you aligned with your source within, with your joy, without resistance, your relationship with yourself being selfish. By you being selfish, it helps you align. And then with this so-called destined connection, you can be more free to be yourself. You could be more free to make it this destined connection by listening to anyone else than your heart, your true self. You are opening yourself to all the resistances that we have been talking about. By you listening to your heart, by you living from your heart, you can make it your destined connection. But let us not concern ourselves with destiny, because that sounds like a have to. And when one adopts an attitude of, I have to do this, one brings in resistance as well. When one's have to comes out of joy, meaning, I have to do this because it really makes me feel good being selfish. because it really makes me feel good. This feels like my purpose. This is easy. This is joyful. By looking at it that way, by living that way, the idea of destiny is for another realm. Does it serve you purpose by thinking that it's destined? Does it serve you purpose by releasing the idea that it is destined, that I have to? You know whether you can resist this other individual, this job. You know if you're taking, you know when you step into a meeting, a relationship, a job, whether it has purpose, whether it excites you, whether you are drawn into it. It has a purpose and it serves a purpose, and it serves your purpose of joy, serves your purpose of you connecting with yourself, being selfish. Not necessarily what can I gain from it. Everything that brings out your joy is of benefit to you. Hopefully this makes sense.
I believe so. Thank you so much. There's this question from Joan. Let me grab that. She says, okay, one second. She says, free will and the will of God. In my understanding, free will is to choose your human free will, and the will of God is to follow the will of God for us. So it means that we can choose our free will, but it's not the will of God. It's ours. It's because we choose our free will means we are against the will of God, exclamation point. Can you enlighten me how this free will and will of God?
Yes. Yes. This is the quandary of the human experience of everyone who does not understand one's true self. The will of God for you is merely the effortless living from your joy. That is it. That is it. And your distinction between my choosing my free will, that is the difference, the separation from the egoic resistance, lower vibrations, the shadow side of ego, that is the being selfish. This, you are free to choose. Your mind gets to choose. That is the best part of it. And there's only one judge here, and that's you. Your inner being is not judging you. God is not judging you. Maybe your friends are judging you. That is part of the human experience. How you judge yourself is the most important thing. This idea of a difference between my will and God's will for you is merely an idea of separation. They are the same thing. Try not to think of God as this faraway being who wants to control you, who wants to tell you what to do. Try to think of God as your heart that's living, full of love, full of joy, full of ease. If you think of God this way, there is no difference between your will and God's will. By you living from your heart, by living from your joy effortlessly, without being overwhelmed by your fears, by your emotions, by your desires, by your grief, by your anger, by what you want to bring to you, by not being overwhelmed. This peace, this tranquility, this joy that's already in you. You just need to let it out. That's it. And the only cage that's holding it in are your fears, are your overwhelming desires. By you thinking that what you want is different than what God wants. These ideas of separation are the cages that you're putting around your heart, that's putting around your fulfillment of who you are. They're keeping you trapped in you living your life full of joy. God wants you to be joyful, not in anybody else's idea of joy, in your own idea of joy. This is exactly what a soul contract is. That you agreed with God, with your inner being, before you incarnated, what you wish to experience, what you wish to learn. Can you please help me learn this? Can you help me learn destiny? Can you help me learn true love? And God is showing you true love by allowing you to experience a soul contract that might be full of misery, that might be full of despair, that might be full of anger. There is nothing wrong with this soul contract. And you can break it at any moment and return to your joy, return to your true essence. For all those who are suffering beyond belief, one decided, it's hard for the human to understand that one decided to incarnate this way and to be the victim. And when one returns to heaven or the higher realms or to the soul group, however you see it, you will share your experience with joy. This is what I felt. This is what I experienced. Feel all these emotions that I felt during that lifetime. Feel this oppression that I felt. You can continue along this path by living your life the way you always have, by fulfilling these soul contracts that don't align with the idea of ascension. We are all here. We are all listening. We are all experiencing. You can choose. You can invite. You can hope. You can work towards. You can practice. You can think along the lines that your heart can teach you. You can think along the lines that my will is God's will. You can think along the lines that I'm living my heart, living from my heart. Does this all make sense?
I believe so. It did to me. I think so. It was very nice. It's a very beautiful response. We've come really to the end of the webinar. What I'd like to ask is if you would, Alona, do a blessing for us, and then we'll have our announcements. If you could, that would be great honor for us.
I would be honored. I will do it in English along the same lines.
Perfect.
I speak to you to listen to your heart, to allow your heart to sing, to allow your heart to give you purpose, to show you your joy. Allow your heart to be your focus. Allow yourself, which is your heart, which is your joy. Ask your heart to show you your joy. Ask your heart to show you your magnificence. Ask your heart to live fully through you. And ask God in the universe to live through your heart, to come forth from your heart, to show you your joy, to help you live your joy, to help you be you, the real you. Go forth and be you. Water's life, my friends. Okay, so I'm back. Welcome to the new now. How was it? Is anybody going to speak?
Okay, so I'll speak. Thank you for that blessing. Thank you for that wonderful channeling.
Oh,
And
was I muted? I was saying Angie unmute. You got to do an announcement. So sorry. I was saying how beautiful it was. It was a beautiful message. Thank you to Alona and all these things. So I did say it. It's in the universe. It just might not have been.
it is in the universe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will go ahead and do announcements. We have our channeling class scheduled for Sunday, May 26th, 2024, 1:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. I will be teaching that class. It is for the novice channeler as well as the experienced, because we're going to do several forms of channeling. If you're interested in that, classes at hucolo.org. Cost is $150. The consciousness is scheduled for consciousness class is scheduled for Saturday, June 8th, 2024, 1:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Jim will be the instructor in that class, and he will be channeling Granani. If you are interested in that class, please email classes@hucolo.org. The cost is $150. And if you're interested in that, classes@hucolo.org. Our gathering is scheduled for August 8th through August 12th, 2024. It is $695 a person. We will be offering day passes if you'd like to stay off grounds and come in. It is $100 a day, and it will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you're interested in that, again, classes@hucolo.org. Classes@hucolo.org is your answer to everything. So, thanks.
Great. Perfect. That's wonderful. So next week we will have Jim back, and we will have a little bit of a shorter webinar. We'll start on time and then we'll end about 30 minutes early because of somebody's birthday. So birthday party, right?
Yes.
Yes. And apparently Angie's going to be bringing cake for everybody. And if you're online, please drop your address so the cake can be sent to you personally to your home. That's I'm excited
Thanks.
to see the cake in the mail. Yeah. that'd be
Huge
awesome.
cake in the mail. So virtual cakes, anything like that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Will, for your beautiful channeling. You'll be back in just 4 short weeks.
Short.
Thanks for having me here. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Much love to you, and we will see you next time. And I'm gonna end the chat or in the YouTube. Thank you to everyone in YouTube for all your wonderful